13, right?
Episode 13 of Indecisive Cinema.
Friday the 13th.
Today is not Friday the 13th. Today is Monday.
Like always.
The typical day that we record.
April, 20th.
420, bro.
That
was obligatory.
Ben & Jerry's releases burrito today.
Burrito?
Yeah,
What?
for the stoner people, there's it's called a burrito. It's a waffle cone. It wraps over vanilla ice cream, chocolate, peanuts, and you hold it like this and eat like a burrito.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I've been watching that commercial on YouTube. It's funny.
They're catering to the 420 market.
Well, they're famous for that. Ben & Jerry. They're
really?
openly about hemp and marijuana and stuff like that. And supposedly that's how they started. There were a bunch of hippies who come up with all natural ice creams. So that's their story. But I want to try the burrito. It's called the B-R-R-ito.
So clever. It's the most clever name of all time.
I don't know if you're being serious with that.
I'm not. That's a stupid title.
Sarcasm's good. So, what else were you going to call it?
So how was your week?
I've also had, me, on this show, I've told you about my adventures. I don't know. I don't want to sound so negative, but as you know, on Friday, coming home from the movies, my youngest daughter Emma just turned 8, and
I suppose we can explain what happened that would cause this. Also, here in Texas, it storms, and we don't get notifications about these things. Like you'll get like the Amber Alert sound on your phone or whatever.
Yeah, I
and
got
it's
the
like,
flash.
Oh, guess what? It's flooding already.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, gee, thanks for the warning. Yeah, and then you hit water, and you go, oh, great. We had this little flash, what they call it, just a thunderstorm. Or there's a 30% chance of rain or whatever, and then it floods to your knees.
Serious.
And this happens like once every couple years here in Houston. It probably rains that hard every year, but it like really floods.
It was bad.
Fairly often.
Happened to me. I ran through a flash flood a day after. I remember it rained one day. We had one about a year ago, and I was going to work early in the morning, and it was light out. And I ran through one, and I freaked out because my car was in the water, and I just hit the brake. I mean the gas. Sorry, if I hit the brake, and I went right through, and like as soon as I got out, the car all the lights stalled, and then it hit back on. And I just shot out like a cannon. I kept going, and I remember I was like, oh my God. And I told Lisa about it. She goes, yeah, you can't never stop. So Friday, we made the turn right here in Gemini. I'm about a half mile away from the Gemini and El Camino. And I was hitting the brake. Well, at first I was just driving regular. When I noticed that there was water, I stepped on my gas. And as we were going right in front of Daystar, which would be, I'd say, a block from El Camino and Gemini, I saw lights coming at me. And I got kind of scared. And I was like, I had the girls in the car, and I was still hitting the gas. And you know how it is, the water, everything mixed. I couldn't see out the window, and it looked like he was coming right at me. And I just freaked out, and I hit the brakes. He came, he made a fucking wave that went over the car. And then next thing you know, I was like, oh wait, I gotta keep going. And I stepped on the gas, and I went maybe another 10 feet, and it stalled. The whole car was underwater. And then that was it. We were in front of Daystar, and I was so angry. I was like, it never happened before. You see it in movies, I called 911, they told me to abandon the car and get to higher ground. I was like, what about my car? And they were like, oh, well, you got to worry about that later, so save yourself. So I did. I saved myself and the girl. I got out first. I was like up to my ankles in the water, and then I grabbed Emma first because she's the lightest, and I picked her up, and I got her over. And then I got Gloriana out, and she had to walk through it because she's heavier. And that was it. And then when I turned off my car, grabbed everything that I needed for work and stuff like that, and I left it by the side of the road, and that was it. Luckily that night I got home, I was so upset and angry, and I told, I was like talking around, I told her to go, there was like a whole bunch of people who converged outside talking about saving people, which is funny because I live in a condo. It's like, true. No, it's true.
It's like anytime there's a natural disaster here in Houston, everybody's like, all right, let's do this. Everybody becomes vigilante, like
Batman.
Like let's go stop crime in Houston. It's like okay, it's just a flood, bro. Like just go in your homes. Like the power went out, so everybody was bored.
Yeah, and then that was the other thing. I got here, there was no power, so they were out there. I guess, I mean, because I live in a condo, I mean, I'm not trying to brag. I mean, I lucked out with the condo. But it's mostly nurses and doctors and stuff.
We're in the medical district.
Yeah, and
or we're not. I don't live here, but you
live in the medical district. You live in a nice neighborhood too. But over here, it's all the people from the medical district right around, well, not around the corner, it's about a mile away, but they just started running and I luckily what happened was the girls started hitchhiking we started walking away from where we were, and I started screaming. I was like, "What are you hitchhiking for?" And like this guy stopped, and I was like all scared, and then a car stopped behind him. There was a woman in the car, and he goes, "Oh, that's my wife. You want to ride with her? Or you want to ride with me?" And I was like, "I don't care. So let's get home." We had been outside for like over 45 minutes. It was still raining. The girls had jackets on.
And it was like you can't really walk. It was deep enough to where it was
deep.
Like
it was deep. And so this guy got me home. When we got home, they were outside planning to save us. We have two doctors right around, two young, good-looking nurse doctors around the corner from my house, and they were like getting in the truck when we got here. And they were like, "Oh, you're back." And we were like, "Yeah." And when we came upstairs, I just like got into my pajamas. I said, I don't want to have nothing to do with this day no more. And Rhonda was like, "Well, what are we gonna do about the car?" So there was people still outside. So ask one of them if they can like tow our car home, just so I don't have to pay the tow truck. I was like, no tow truck was coming that night, but the next day I would have to have gotten a tow truck.
Yeah, no freaking electrician would come that night either.
Oh no, yeah, they didn't do that either.
It took like 7 hours for them to turn the power back
on.
That
happened here. So we got.
Come on, guys.
So then, lo and behold, to make the long story short,
there's gonna be an electrician listening to this that's gonna go.
Yeah, right. I would have done it for $1,000. But she actually found a mechanic who lives right over here on L22, and she went out there. She got the car back home, and it's basically which I'm very still angry. It was a 50-50. She said, "Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to jump the car because it's a 50-50 shot. Either A, the battery died, which is true. My battery was dying. I was going to get a battery this weekend. Or the alternator, which Lisa's always told me that the alternator is the only good thing that's good because, if they change that, it fixes the car, you'll be okay.
Yep.
But she says if it's not those two things, then I'll have to go to a mechanic, get the car, which should have happened already. But, I mean, I don't have the money. Plus, like I said, who's going to tow the car from here to a mechanic? Raise my car up, drain the engine oil and back, all that shit, and then redo it, and then you have 50-50 shot it'll work. So right now, that's what happened to me. That's what's been going on with me. Today I called Juan. Well, I called Lisa. Lisa said she would for me to call Quentin. Quentin would call Juan because Juan doesn't have a cell phone. And I called him, but I left a message. So let's see what happens. Hopefully. If not today, I got till next week to fix it. If not, then I got to get a new car. By the time
You bought that outright, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought it for $2,500 for some guy, a friend of a friend, and it's lasted me so long. It's a really good car. This is just shitty luck, like you said, in Texas. I mean, this wouldn't happen in Brooklyn, but in Texas, flash flood took my car, and so that's what happened. That's my week. How was your week, Jeremy?
Well, because of that flash flood, I had to miss the Blackhawks game.
Fucking guy.
I had so many problems.
I know, right? I'm really sorry you missed. Did you catch the repeat at midnight?
Yeah, it was no, because it doesn't record or because all the power.
Oh, that's right, the power.
Oh, so I had to listen to it on the radio.
Oh my god.
We lost 6-2 anyway, so it didn't matter. But yeah.
What time your power came on?
Like 1:30 in the morning.
I
went to sleep and then I got really hot at one point because it was just like the AC was out too, of course. And so I got up at one point and then the power all came back and I was like, yes.
Yeah, we opened up the patio doors. It was amazing. The breeze and the wind and the even the light rain
just the
coming
sound
through.
Of the rain too.
And everybody was out snoring. And then there was one friggin' thunderbolt that then woke up Gloria. Right. Was like, "You better close that one." She refused to be in the room until I closed that. Opened up my front door, which was bad because the front door was open. The roaches coming through the front door, and I was just like, I wasn't getting enough air. And me and you were big guys. And I was like suffocating. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, it's miserable.
So I had to wait till she fell back asleep. I reopened up the windows, and this was about maybe 11:40 something. And thank God, 15 minutes later, boom, like clockwork, everything came back on. And I just said, everybody get to bed, put on the AC, and I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, that was horrible.
It
But
was.
I did film some of it though.
Yeah, talk about that. I love the film.
It provided a little bit of entertainment during the wee hours of the whole 6 hours without power. Miserable hours.
So you shot it during, and then you edited after?
Yeah, because I had to. It's not on TV tape or film.
No, but did you edit it like as soon as the power came on, or you waited?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I wanted to throw it up overnight, otherwise I'd run out of time to do it. So
It was good. It was really good. Your new equipment. We've talked about the new equipment before. Really good. Really.
I went out and bought some new camera stuff, and it spent a lot of money, and it looks good. I like it.
It's professional. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, I love Jeremy. I follow his career, and I saw it. I was like, holy shit! I was
You've
like,
seen some of my iPhone shorts that are
no, but you're good. But even your not on say abstract, the arty. You see my air quotes stuff. So you do yes, doing air quotes. He does some artistic stuff too as well.
Well, that's the stuff I like doing.
You've done this
no
before.
money in
You've
it.
done it before with lighting effects. You've done it before last year, or the year before. Like it's just short with lighting, and it's not really. You've done that before, I think. I remember like 2 years ago you did a short like that with lightning, or I think you were outside when you went on vacation. Remember you had a nice like just shots of like.
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
He doesn't know his own work. I mean,
well, that's not something that I
Well, no, it's not yet, but not. But I mean, the fact that you did it.
Well, maybe Lightless is what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, Lightless does have some abstract images, but this was really good. Like I said, first off, the equipment works beautiful. I mean, the resolution and everything was so good. And the first thing Rhonda was like, she goes, "Oh, he has movie equipment." And I said, "Yeah, but he bought real."
This is what I do for a living.
I know, but it's like she sees your video work, but I mean, the comparison from what you've done before to now, that equipment is unbelievable.
Well, but I haven't done a short though, and well, I haven't done a short since the one I shot called Recollection, which I did. It's like a minute short I did with my sister.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
that's the last one I did. That was like a year and a half ago, though.
Yeah, I like that one.
So I mean, it's been a year and a half. Well, maybe not a year and a half, but it's been at least a year since I've done anything for myself, really. So this was just kind of. This is not a short film, really. It's
No.
It's essentially a highlight video set to a Polienzo song.
Yeah. The music was very well used too.
It's just a little highlight video of the lighting and whatnot, and all the kind of like the lighting everything by candle and whatnot, like.
Yeah, that was cool too. Yeah,
but it's completely dark, so it's like that was kind of the thing. I bought the. For those of you that listening that know cameras at all, I bought the Sony A7S, which is kind of a it's like a $2,500 DSLR that Sony manufactures. That it's like the best low light camera on the market.
Yeah, no doubt.
Other than like the Arri Alexa, or you could say there's more expensive cameras that are a little bit better, but nothing in the same price point. And for what I do, I'm generally a one man band, and so I bought a camera that I can go out and shoot in low light and not have to be like for stuff like that. Like I didn't have to light anything. It was all lit by candlelight, and it can retain some image quality. The
shot on the window with the drop rain. Oh, that was amazing. I love that. That was really nice.
And that so like I can do a lot with the camera, and that was kind of why I bought it. And so yeah, I shot this little short, and it's the first. I bought the camera about 3 weeks ago, so. I've shot a couple weddings with it already, and then which is what I do to make money, and then I do shorts on the side. So hoping to do some more of them.
Yeah, I'd like to see actual footage of like.
Now that I have equipment that I can use, that actually, I've had a DSLR for a long time now, but it's a piece of junk. So this is a big improvement. So
it is very.
We'll see, but we need to get to mood. This is
we talked about our adventures of the week,
which is totally fine, but.
But it's good. This is a very, very low key show today.
Yeah, we never
what
have.
We're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we do a fair amount of stuff today. We do have some stuff planned. None of that was planned. But we do have some movie news, and then we're gonna do 4 films. One's a surprise movie that
I can't wait.
Carlos does not know about.
He's got me very excited.
And then I saw Ryan Gosling's directorial debut, Lost River, which premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, and then I think was it South by
South by Southwest.
Yeah, I think it played there.
Yeah, I saw the trailer when I went to New York at the.
Didn't get a theatrical release. Got really terrible reviews, but I saw it. So we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, all right.
And then Carlos and I I saw the Babadook. I bought it. I saw it a long time ago, but Carlos saw it. So we're going to talk about the Babadook.
Did you get the special edition one?
Oh yeah, with the pop-up.
You know what? I went everywhere. No one has it. Now I got to go
Best
back
Buy
on
had
Amazon. Best Buy didn't have one. I went. They only had like one left.
They had like 4 when I was there, but I bought it the day of.
Yeah, that's why I should have done that.
And then I saw Predestination with Ethan Hawke, which was this kind of sci-fi film that came out earlier this year. Mm-hmm. Kind of a lower budget. Like I would guess it probably cost him about 10 to 30 million, somewhere in that range. But for like I'm not going to compare it to like Inception or anything like that, but it's like an Inception or like a source code type sci-fi film, kind of like not the budget of Inception, but more the budget of like source code. That came out earlier this year, got really good reviews. And then the last one, I guess, is the surprise one, which we'll talk about later. So those 4 films, we're also going to recap Game of Thrones because we weren't here last week, so we're going to recap episode 1 and 2 of season 5. So that's kind of the outline of the episode, and we'll start with movie news. And anytime I'm going to do this, I've literally done this for the past 4 weeks. Anytime Ben Wheatley has anything going on, we're going to talk about it. Brie Larson joined Ben Wheatley's Free Fire, which is not. He's got a movie coming out called High Rise, which is in post production, I believe, and then Free Fire is supposed to happen after that. So that it won't be a while, but Brie Larson's attached, and Brie Larson is adorable, and she's one of my favorite actresses.
Community.
Oh, she's great, and she's great in everything. She's the cutest. She was amazing in Short Term 12 last year, which I just thought was fantastic. I guess that was last year. Was that last year or the year before? I think it was last year, but Brie Larson's just incredible, I think, and so that's kind of an odd. I have no idea what Free Fire is about, but Brie Larson's casting in it is interesting. Like from a tonal standpoint, I don't know how she would fit into any of Ben Wheatley's films. You know, if you think about like just his oeuvre. I don't know that I don't know that she could play a role in any of the movies he's produced so far. So I'm interested to see what that looks like.
I agree with you.
And then we saw a True Detective season 2 trailer came out. This was actually last week's news, but I'm including all that this week as well to give us some more stuff to talk about. Have you seen the trailer yet?
For
True Detective?
Yes, I have.
True Detective season 2. What do you think about it? I mean,
you know what's funny? It actually begins just like True Detective season 1. Mm-hmm. You have my man, oh my God, what's his name? Colin Farrell sitting there all greasy looking, and just like it opened with Matthew McConaughey all skinny and greasy looking, and then it. What I liked about it was then it became different. Like as it went on, you see all these images. Vince Vaughn. I mean, I love Vince Vaughn. Who's the girl? Oh man.
It's from The Notebook.
Yeah, and she's in it, and I mean it's intriguing. I mean, I want to know what it's about. Again, I know it's not supposed to be anything.
It's a teaser, yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's like a really good teaser, and it's got a lot of images I like.
I don't know if it's as good as the season 1 teaser.
No, the season 1 was genius. Yes, it was genius.
I mean, I was on board like 6 months before True Detective came out. Yeah, when they released that teaser, I was like, "This is going to be the best show."
Yeah, when you showed me that, I was like, "What?"
It's incredible, and this looks really good though as well. I mean, I love the tone of it. This. I mean, I like the teaser, but then the last shot of the teaser is brilliant. Like this masked man looks at the camera and it's really really great. Yeah. Like it gave me chills. It was like I love the show. I just love the talent behind the camera. You know, Nick Pizzolatto, or I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Yeah, he's a great writer. I think he's still involved. If he's not, sorry, but he did a great job on season 1, and I'm excited for season 2. I love this idea. I love that we don't have any idea what this show's going to be about this season.
That's what I love about it.
And that's a great thing. Same with American Horror Story and whatnot. You just have no plot wise. You have no idea what's going to happen, and that's always exciting. So, and we had a lot of trailers this week or this past 2 weeks. But I'm going to take a break though and talk about Twin Peaks begging David Lynch to come back.
Oh my God, I love it.
Which is just a great thing.
I know we talked about we actually touched on this the last time.
Yeah, last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I'm very happy. And we said now we just need the stars to get behind him. And literally that next day, they released that little creepy trailer where all the actors from the film, with the exception of the Kyle MacLachlan and Michael Onken, and they're all talking about Twin Peaks without David Lynch is like and really good. I really liked it. It got creepy, especially when the one-armed man at the end ends it. I can't see Twin Peaks without
his attachment. Even if he was just a producer, which he was for most of the series. Even if he's just the creator, I guess it would still be the same show. So I don't know how that would work in terms of like crediting a creator. I would assume it would be because he was he
was executive producer, creator, writer on I think 8 episodes total.
Yeah.
But every episode he touched was gold. The first one and the last one. And with the last one, with the whole thing, we'll see you in the episode where they're in the red cabin, and he says, "We'll see you in 25 years." And the fact that alone was, David Lynch's creation. I mean, without him on it, it wouldn't last. And I mean, I don't see why they won't wait the 1 year or whatever. Give them the time, whatever it is. I mean,
but I think they've had enough backlash since we first talked about it that I think. I mean, I think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you the last time we talked, if you go to Showtime.com, Twin Peaks is there as this is what's coming up, and so they can't just say, oh well, we'll get rid of it. They'll definitely keep it, and I'll wait till 2017. I mean, I'll be hopefully I'm around 2 years and. I can't wait to see another season of Twin Peaks. One of my, as I tell you, my number one show of all time. It changed the face of how we watch television.
I might need to borrow. Is it on Netflix?
It is on Netflix. Okay. Yeah, I saw it the other day.
So I don't need to borrow it from you then.
Yeah.
Daredevil. Have you watched Daredevil yet? I have not. So I'm not like
I am, and I'm being lazy about it. It's like everybody insists it premiered a week ago, and everyone's like. Oh,
huge hit. Huge hit.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, people who don't like superhero stuff are like, oh, I like this Daredevil. It's really good. It's exciting.
It came out of nowhere, too. Yeah. I mean, people knew that it was going to happen.
Yeah, I knew. I was excited.
But like, I don't know. It's like
it's written by, I forgot who, let me look up who it was written by. But I mean, the fact that it's written by somebody who knows comic books, because I think that's the biggest thing is that everyone's like.
I thought it was raining outside.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was raining in my house. I was like, damn, what the hell? Everyone's talking about how well it's written, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, me and you were both into writing. I mean, it's something that we love.
Oh, Drew Goddard. Okay.
Yeah. It's Drew Goddard. Oh, my God. And there it goes.
Oh, yeah. That makes me interested. I didn't
we
know
don't
that.
have to talk about it no
Cabin
more.
in the Woods. Yeah, right? Like,
right.
I think that's enough. He created it and wrote it.
Holy crap! I didn't even know he created it.
I had no idea. That makes me much more.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I mean, it's not that I haven't been watching because I didn't want to see it. It's just that.
I mean, I
can I invest 10 hours of my life because I'm not going to be the kind to watch this one episode and that's it.
Yeah,
I got to see it all, especially since I heard
you're waiting to have that time.
Yeah, and today I could have done it, but then I was like, well, I know you're going to come. We're going to do the show. I wasn't sure about the car, but yeah, it's like what I heard is. What they're doing, another thing about Marvel, and again, I know this is not your bag per se, but I mean, throwing it in.
I mean, I've seen most of them.
No,
that's not true.
But I mean the intricacies of this stuff. Like, remember, we're not talking about
how the plot ties in.
Yeah, all the TV shows that they created are so like in comparison with the movies. Like I said, and alone from what my sister was telling me too, there's so many Easter eggs in the show that I mean, not even just mentioning, but in the background you see like newspaper covers of Age of Ultron and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The mentioning of Luke Cage and Iron Fist, which is the next show coming out, a.k.a. Jennifer Jones. So it's really good. And from what I heard, it's so good and how they want to make the next batch instead of a series, a movie. That's how big hit this is now. They weren't even thinking it was going to be that big of a hit.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, it's just like it blew up. I mean, everybody it was one of those things that came out, and like I said, people were going to watch it. That was going to happen, even if it was terrible. People were going to watch this.
Well, yeah, 'cause it's on Netflix.
I mean, and it was like one of those things they don't have to wait for it.
Exactly.
So it's like, even like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that. That was kind of like on average, at least at the beginning, people were still behind. But this has been like a unanimous like. This is really incredible. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to watch it. Like I said, especially knowing Drew Goddard is behind it. Cause
now that I know that,
I think Cabin in the Woods is really really terrific, and
that's the second time me and you hung out. The Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, that's that's where I first met you.
Did we first meet then? Did we first meet with Dillard's one time?
No, I don't know.
The first time I met you was in Dillard's. We talked about movies.
Because I didn't know what you looked like when we went to Cabin in the Woods.
Then we and John made plans to see it, and then we said, "Oh, can I go?" And I said, that's the second time we met.
Maybe that, yeah, okay.
Look at this little
history.
But yeah, I love Cabin in the Woods. I thought it was one of the smartest films I've ever seen.
That's a good film for us to go see together for the first time.
Yeah, right? We did. It was like two movie nerds.
Totally, yeah, exactly.
Seeing a great movie nerd film. It was really good.
Okay, so, and then Orange is the New Black, is the trailer season 3, which looks really good.
Yeah, right? I mean, it was more of a scene than anything else, but...
Yeah.
But again, magnificent. These girls are such great actresses. I mean...
Yeah, like, how do you find these people? Really, it's incredible.
And I lucked out. I mean, you saw it... Did you see it from season 1, or you saw it when season 2?
I saw it right when season 2 aired.
Okay, so
when season 1 came out, everybody was like, it's so great. You need to watch it. I was like, okay, I get it. I get to it.
I get it.
You know, it's like somebody did to me with Mad Men last night. He was like, you just need to turn it on right now. I'm like, no, I'll watch Mad Men when I get to Mad Men. It's like, bro, trust me. It's like, I know it exists. It's like more so than other people that haven't watched the show. Like, I know that Mad Men is a thing. It's like
Delano. I mean,
it's like the thing is, it's also 7 seasons or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 100 and something else.
Yeah, it's gonna take. I'm waiting for it to end, so that I can watch it all at once.
Yeah, Entertainment Weekly came out with their binge episode issue, and of course, Mad Men is one of them. For press time, they didn't have Daredevil, but I heard that they amended it when I was reading on Facebook that Daredevil would have been their 10.5. That you have to binge watch the episode, and that's why, but yeah, it's something that
Netflix is just knocking it out of the park.
And they got more, like, even the we didn't talk about it, but was it Inside Katie Schmidt or no, that's Inside Amy Schumer.
Unbreakable.
Did you see that?
Very good. I saw the first episode. I haven't seen the rest of it.
Yeah, I saw the first episode alone was good, and again, I have to watch the rest. But they're coming out with a really good series. But with Orange,
really, really good series. Like, it's
with Orange is the New Black. I mean, again, the scene is great. I mean, I can't wait to watch it. I hate that we get all these episodes in a lump, but then we see them within a weekend. Then we gotta wait another year.
Then it feels like it takes longer.
Yeah, because it's a year.
Well, that's
later.
why I still haven't seen season 2 of House of Cards. Like, and I was like the biggest fan of that first season when it I just haven't had to. Part of it though is just like the time commitment for getting all of them at once. Yeah. It's a good thing because I think you can kind of ingest. It's like watching True Detective. When I watched that all the way through, 6 episodes,
you saw it in a lot.
It's just it's like a religious experience. Yeah. Like, it's like you watch it and you're just like,
and I oh my gosh! I did episodes.
I loved watching it week to week though. That was a great show week to week. Yeah. But but watching it all at once though just was kind of like it's like this complete thing. It's like listening to an album in its entirety.
I like that.
Like you can kind of. You just understand everything a little bit more because for me at least when I take a break, like I'll never come back sometimes after, even if it's a show I like a lot, so.
But it's funny that you say that because comparing with albums, it's like there's only certain albums you can actually hear from beginning to end, and they work. There's concept, and I'm outside of concept albums, and that's how I picture binge watching. Like, if there's a show that's so good, you got to watch it. You can't just stop. And I've done that with shows I shouldn't have, but yeah, like right now, me and Ron
Dexter.
Dexter. Actually, I'm doing Buffy with Rhonda, so Rhonda's actually getting a nice.
I still have not seen Buffy.
Oh, you gotta watch it, bro. It's my number 2 show of all time.
I still haven't finished The Sopranos either. I've got I'm on season. I'm on season 5 of that though too. It's like I just
you're almost done then. You got 2 more episodes.
Yeah, but yeah, it's one of those things. But I mean, I like the idea of releasing them all at once, but at the same time, it is hard because it's like it's easier for me to watch a show 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
And watch 6 different shows like it is right now. I've got like Game of Thrones. I've got Last Week Tonight. I have Silicon Valley. I've got Last Man on Earth.
Great show.
All these. This is for. I mean, when Girls and what was the other one that was on HBO? Togetherness were on. I had just more. Again, but I can keep up with 4 hours a week, but I can't keep up with 10 hours. Like for some strange reason. It just that it seems like work. It's like I need to.
That's what I see. That I'm like, I gotta do this.
But it's one of those things. I do. Whatever. Well, that's a topic for another day. But let's get to Batman and Superman because we got to move on. And Star Wars. We haven't talked about either of those things. Which let's talk about Star Wars first because I think we're probably going to be pretty similar on that.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Again,
so
yeah.
good.
I mean, this is it's simple.
And I'm not even. Anyway,
I've
I've said this before. I'm not even like a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Star Wars a lot. I mean, it's such an iconic series, and like,
yes.
And I did grow up with them.
Yeah,
I
of course.
and like I said the last time, though, like my nerdy thing was always Lord of the Rings. I was more of that kind of a person. I like sci-fi, but I've never been as into Star Wars. Mm-hmm. But I totally understand the appeal of it. I think it's a great series.
I think
other than the first three, I don't like the prequels.
It's funny that because I want to bring something.
I don't hate the third one, but
no.
I do hate the first two.
It's funny because I asked Rhonda about a month ago. I said, "Has he seen Star Wars?" She says, "Oh yeah." So I was like, "Okay, good. That's really good." And then we were watching the trailer the other day with JC. She was like, "Oh, these are the old guys, right, from the original one?" And I was like, "Yes." And then you say he saw it. She goes, "Oh no, he saw it. Like he only seen
the prequels."
The prequels, and I'm like, "Oh," like I got excited because he was. I mean, what I know about JC, and again, I mean, he's a little pain in the butt sometimes, but he was literally sitting there in awe. His jaw dropped and watched it, and I wish I could feel that again. Yeah. I mean, like like I was gonna say, this trailer, whoever edited it, give him an award. It was greatly edited.
Yeah, it's really great.
From the opening shot, you got all trailers open with a far shot. I mean, a wide shot,
but
and you see that downed Empire ship,
exactly.
the Imperial ship.
Yeah,
oh my God, it's like you get chills. She's like, oh yeah, we fucking.
And it's genuinely hidden. I think.
Yeah.
It's like you see this thing, and then there's this slight pan over.
It's like you got this Clint Eastwood Western pan.
Yeah, it's really great.
And then it's like, and again, not to start, but you got the guy from Attack on the Block. Hyperventilating, drugs. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I said, do you have asthma now?
I just can't catch my breath.
He's like, both
it's like the kid from Malcolm in the Middle. It's like
what's that kid's name?
I don't remember.
But it's like he takes off his helmet in one scene. It's just different from the first time, and he's hyperventilating. And then later on, he meets the girl. He's hyperventilating, grabs her hand. I'm like, what is wrong with you? But everybody hates you. They talk about you. Now they're going to talk about you more. But
and he's such a great actor too.
I like him, but he said he did on purpose.
I don't know what he's got to do with this movie so far.
Let them talk about him now.
Yeah.
but
intensity. It's so intense.
I can be intense. But then you have Luke's narration over this. Oh, really that great. Shot of Darth's helmet. Oh my God! But the skeleton inside, I guess. I'm like, oh, and then you have his hand on top of R2, and he's got just like
that's
his dad.
Great, yeah.
That hands, and then the greatness is like I said, okay, you told us last year that F the expanded universe, but then you even mentioned in the trailer my sister, and he hands her the lightsaber. And I'm like, the expanded universe.
No. He says the line is my
father has it.
My father has it.
I have it.
My sister has it.
My sister has it.
And you have it.
And yeah, but I'm saying
and then he hands it to that person.
No. He says my sister has it. Watch the trailer right now. I've seen the trailer a billion times.
That's fine. But
he hands it to her. He says my sister has it, and then it goes fade. Says and now you have it. Now again. Leia being a Jedi was nowhere in any of the movies. It was only in the expanded universe.
To be fair, though, that could be that image.
Yeah.
It might not be him handing. What was that?
I don't know what was.
I don't know. It's just like a big whatever.
Well, I'm sorry in your headset. I'm sorry, but I mean, you're right. That could be something else, but it looked like a dress or a gown.
Yeah, but that could be. Who knows?
It could be a robe too. You're right. A Jedi robe.
I have no idea in terms of the Star Wars expanded
universe. But even mentioning that Leia is a Jedi, because like I said, when we're fighting about the chess thing, Rhonda's not as nerdy as you, and you're not even that nerdy with stuff. She was like, oh, but they mentioned Leia. And I said, no. In Revenge of the Jedi, he acknowledges that she is his sister, which then you should know that she's part of this lineage, that somewhere in her would be some kick-ass Jedi shit. But it's never said. And now when he says that, I like that because for her to even be in the whole nine, there has to be mention of the expanding universe, which is good because you got
Natalie Portman back.
That'd be good. But you have the new troopers who look unbelievable, like the Death Troopers.
Oh yeah.
In the expanding universe. You got that chrome-looking trooper that's like walking and
that looks great. Yeah.
He's like that, and I'm like, that's right out of the expanded universe. I'm like, I'm kind of hoping that they just said that to shut us up. And
well, but that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm honestly and I remember somebody said something about like the planet not being Tatooine or whatever.
Yeah, and it opens on Tatooine.
It could totally. But but even after this trailer, I believe he said it's not. It was Abrams, I think himself.
Okay,
like I said, this is something I read somewhere on the internet. So take that with 0 grains of salt or a grain of salt, whatever you want to say. 10 grains of salt.
10 grains of salt.
But it's like they are bullshitting this whole marketing campaign, and it's brilliant. Like I mean, the whole marketing campaign is they're lying to everyone.
I agree. I agree with you. And I think that's what they don't want us to be on the trail.
That could literally, it could be anyone handing anyone a lightsaber. You just have no idea.
You're right, but we assume it's Luke,
of course,
and then even the use of Darth Revan. I know you don't know who the hell that is. Darth Revan's in the expanded universe. When the guy turns around, you have that Egyptian type hooding with the thing in his eye. Yeah. That's Darth Revan. I can show you a picture of Darth Revan online. That's him. Why is he in it? Or maybe they all look like him.
Maybe they're pulling characters though too. And that's what I'm saying. The characters are iconic and they love the character.
Yeah, of course.
Which could upset people, but they all at the same time they're saying no, we're going to do whatever we want with this, which I think is fair.
I agree.
It kills people like you, your expectations. Of what a character is supposed to look like.
Okay,
for instance, when we've discussed this many times, your hatred of the Dark Knight series.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of times because of your expectations of what a character is supposed to do or act like.
Continuity should be continuity.
Is fair, but if Nolan had said we're going to do whatever we want. Now you can't make that argument, which is what Abrams is doing here.
Yeah, but again, then he's doing it where people like me are sitting there and then you're like, wait a minute, what? This second trailer was genius. I mean, this is what they should have released last year. And then, of course, all that leads to Han Solo and Chewbacca again and the old man. Yeah. I thought that was... I'm not a Han Solo fan as much anymore because of the fact that Harrison Ford has went on record saying he hated Han Solo. So it kind of killed the old character for me.
Oh, but
for him to be back and be smiling like Chewie, we're home. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And it's a great trailer.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And I mean, they're playing up nostalgia, which is, I think, the way to do it.
Yeah, agreed.
This movie's going to make a bajillion
dollars. Oh, yeah. I mean, every kid's Christmas money is going to go see the movie a million times.
Okay, more importantly, for a second here, Battlefront. Coming out.
Oh my god, that trailer was unbelievable.
So I wasn't I wasn't a huge fan of the Star Wars films as a kid, but I was a huge fan of the Battlefront and any of the Star Wars video games.
I loved all of them.
Lego Star Wars, all that
Expanded universe stuff.
But not for the story, just because of the visuals, because I like sci-fi, but I don't. It's like sometimes I don't really care about story as much. I just love the visual, and I love the just the ability to fly around in space and Battlefront 2.
Of course, yeah.
That's freaking awesome. So I really love that. So the game is going to come out, I think, later this year as well. It's a leaked release date.
Yeah.
But still, it looks incredible.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect pairing with this film. Like, I mean, it's just
it is.
It's going to come out at the
big
perfect
reveal at the
time.
end. Yeah, which got me mad though because I was looking at it. I'm like, first of all, the game engine's oh my god,
it's incredible.
It was like when I played it, they were like, oh, what movie is this? It's another, and I was like, no, it's not a movie.
Yeah, it looks like Clone Wars. It looks like the animated series. Yeah. It looks better than
but it looks good. And then at the end...
That's cutscene footage.
Yeah.
It's from the real in-game.
Agreed,
we haven't seen... I don't know if we've seen gameplay footage.
Well, it says game engine footage.
Yes, but that can mean like they're just streaming it from a console.
Agreed, yeah.
Just playing a cutscene.
Yeah.
Different thing.
But still, that ending where Darth Vader pops out, which then makes me say, okay, this is like, I'm assuming before Revenge of the Jedi, like when they first land on the Ewok planet. But
I have no idea story-wise. I don't care.
Well, it has to be because Darth Vader's there.
I just want to play. I just want to shoot people in the Star Wars universe. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, I love any video game with Star Wars. I mean, I'm dying to get because I still have my old Kinects, Xbox 360. But the Star Wars Kinects was such a great game because you can use the controller and you fight people with the game. I was something I always wanted to do, and I never bought it, but I still want to get that Star Wars Kinect.
Yeah, and it's coming out. It's being released by EA, who I really hate.
EA's electronic.
I kind of hate EA when it comes to video games. I really hate them sometimes. But they're using that engine, and they made the Battlefield games. And if they can pull some, because Battlefield is a great series, I think, especially now it's just gotten better. Like if you pull some of those. No, I'm talking about Battlefield. It's a it's a war game.
You mean outside of Battlefront?
No, I don't.
I don't know. I keep forgetting I'm not that nerdy outside.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's like the cool people Call of Duty. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't play Call of Duty, so
there's some hatred between those two factions of people. No, I haven't played Battlefield in forever, but they're great games, and if they can take anything from those Battlefield games and bring them into Battlefront, because they are kind of the same, like kind of. You have just objectives and things like that. You go and you capture bases, or you do what they're the same style of video game, and so if you can bring in all these elements of something that works really well into the Star Wars universe, it's going to be incredible. Especially, you're using the same engine as those games, which those games look incredible, especially on PC. And
I heard that it's the thing to do it on PC outside of a console game, because my man Mike does everything on PC and he loves that shit.
Yeah, we're going to avoid that topic because that's a whole thing that we could go into. But regardless, this game looks incredible. I'm just the idea that this game exists is exciting to me, even if it's not perfect. Because I spent so much time on we still play. That's something we still go and do is play Battlefront 1 and 2 at friends' houses all the time.
Cool,
oh yeah, yeah. Cool. We'd go and play Galactic Conquest or whatever it was, and you just it's so much fun.
That is cool.
So it's so much fun to play with friends because I'm the kind of person that when I play with friends, I just crash ships into my other friends. It's like he's trying to get my friends will be trying to do the objective, and I'm just crashing into them. Like my goal is to just. I remember people hated me
because when we played Call of Duty, that's the first thing I did. I just started shooting everybody. I mean, it's cool.
But this is more fun because it's in space.
In space.
Yeah. Anyway, it's gonna be great, and this trailer looks great, and I'm really excited for it. I'm probably not gonna see it opening weekend just because there's no reason for me to go near a theater opening weekend when that comes out. I mean, it's gonna be crazy when
how about this? I know you won't do it.
I mean, these movies are going to be more popular than the prequel.
Oh no, you're 100% correct. I mean,
they're going to be because now they have the younger audience. They had it back in the day too. But back in the day, you had that gap where the younger audience was. What are you doing with your hands there?
I got an itch in my hand. I don't know. Keep
going. like the younger audience though then had time to get older, and so it's like now you have this younger audience that's coming to Star Wars now, and I mean I think it's gonna be huge. This movie is gonna be crazy. I'm not gonna go anywhere near a theater for probably a week until after it comes out because
I gotta go opening weekend with him. I gotta take him to see it opening weekend. I mean I've seen every friggin' out of the trilogy, out of the prequels. I mean because I was too young to see the originals opening day. But I will say this: what I am going to do, and I will be in New York again. My sister said that she wants us to come to New York for the holidays again, and that's cool. But it would be after because I have the girls for New Year's this time, so I won't be there opening week. I'll probably do it here in Houston.
Yeah.
But something that I know you've never done, I probably think you won't do it. But then again, since you're such a night owl, you might just go out of boredom. Toys R Us is doing their Midnight Madness toy thing. I think they said either the month before or / the week after Thanksgiving. So it's probably going to be the first week of December. But basically, I don't know if you've ever done it. I mean, of course not. But, everybody waits out online and they preview the figures from the movie.
Gotcha.
And like I said, at first I was staying far away. You want to do that?
No.
I want to do that too because it's fun and you get free shit.
I know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I know you wouldn't, but I'm saying I wouldn't. Like I said, after watching the second trailer, like when that's on the first trailer, I said, boring. But then you have all these cool looking fucking figures. Besides the clone or whatever they are, they're not clone troopers. I think they're dark troopers in this movie. But that chrome looking dude with that gun and the sash, I'm definitely going to buy a couple of figures from this movie. And being that I have an excuse to take him and buy some.
I'm not a figure collector.
No, I know, but I'm just to go to see the craziness. It won't be as bad as the movie, but it's going to be collector thing or really bad too. That's something I want to do here. I mean, of course, there's only one Toys R Us over here. Hopefully they do it. If not, because I don't want to drive that far for anyone else. But it should be that's like something fun. I know. Well, in New York, I mean, they do it too, but they do it like I said, the first week of December, and I won't be there. But yeah, it's I can't wait. I mean, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. That's my thing.
It's going to be awesome.
And then now
it's a big movie that I'm really excited for.
Oh
I mean, I haven't been this excited for anything like of that scale in a long time.
In a long time, agreed.
I'm not saying that as like a hipster. That's not what I mean.
No, it has nothing to do with hipster.
It's not
Star
like
Wars is not about hipster.
I watch the independent cinema. That's not what I'm saying.
No,
there's very few things though that have been like kind of like big budget the Marvel movies. I mean, I wanted to see Guardians, but This looks great.
Oh, no doubt.
And same with Tomorrowland. Those are the two that I'm like.
Yeah, you dig on that, and I love that trailer too. Tomorrowland, it gets better.
That could be terrible. I think this is going to be better than that. I think this has more promise than Tomorrowland.
Disney movies are interesting.
But Brad Bird has not made a bad movie.
Exactly, and that's why I think it's going to be good. Because Disney movies are funny. I mean, sometimes big budget movies they come and go, but.
Well, I mean, I think they're all generally really well made.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, that's the thing. I was like, I can only discredit most big Hollywood films.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, my complaint is just that they're boring or they don't work, or there's just way too much action I can't follow. Those kinds of complaints, because the technical's always there for the most part with the big Hollywood productions. I mean, normally they've got a budget. Stuff is shot pretty well. It's all some of it can be kind of cookie cutter.
Yeah.
But for me, like I just like watching movies, and so. Generally, I'm not as interested in the bigger stuff just because it's not. Even if it's there's explosions and cool like special effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just like the cinematography and stuff. And I'm not saying I'm trying not to say this in a pretentious way. I just like for instance, we're going to talk about Lost River, and actually I'll get to that later. But I just love the visual of film.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like just. The way that people compose shots and things like that, and if and that can be enough for me. And if that's not there, it's just not as interesting to me.
Yeah.
And so some of the bigger stuff is intentionally cookie cutter in order to like the Marvel stuff all has that same look, and that's totally fine. They should, but it makes it less interesting for somebody like me. But nothing wrong with that. And then Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
which is more of a teaser. This is more of,
but it's an awesome fucking teaser. I mean, he actually won't pull out a lot of stops with this shit.
I don't know.
Oh, look at this! I think you're doing it on purpose. Well, I'll say this first.
But it's a teaser though, so I'm really not going to complain that much. I just
so
tonally I don't know.
Well, then first let me just talk about it, and then you can give me your reservations that obviously you have.
But they're minor. They're it's just
okay, that's good. I mean, okay, first off,
it's not as good as you think it is. That's all I'm saying.
Well, first let me say this: I didn't expect such a really cool teaser. I mean, it has a lot of juice. You get
a lot of info.
You get a lot.
Yeah, it's more than the Star Wars trailer. Even
the
teaser.
Yeah,
the original teaser, not this one. But.
Not that it gives too much away. I mean, obviously, from even knowing it's based on Batman, The Dark Knight Strikes Again, so you already know it's that battle between Batman and Superman. Another thing I know you wouldn't know, but I thought was genius. A little bit too much stuff that he did, but those shots, like the singular shots of Superman, when first the little 300 Joe comes the missile he's holding, but they're actually recreations of Alec Ross cover artwork. Mm-hmm. When you see him up in the sky, people hold a hand. Another cover he puts on screen. I don't know how many, you guys won't know that. Maybe when you find it out, you'll be like, that's pretentious. But I loved it. I know, Delano.
No, that's okay. I mean,
Delano finally comes on the show. He's going to.
They're Easter eggs that you can appreciate.
Yeah, little Easter eggs that you dig, and that's
you're the audience. That's fine. That's there's nothing wrong with that.
So, and the way he builds it up with the slow pan up to this giant statue and all the stuff that goes back and forth. Just a lot like I don't want to say Alan Moore, but you have the talking heads, which started with the Watchmen, and they you hear people talking back and forth about Superman. You get a lot of that stuff, the intercut scenes. It's really good. Obviously, you see it's a Superman film. Then it turns into this little thing with Batman. And like I said, I take back a lot of shit. I'm a hypocrite when it comes to a lot of things.
Because you could hate this.
I hated Ben Affleck in the beginning, the choice they made. But that whole thing about, when it starts off about, fearless men turn cruel. And then you see Ben Affleck, and he looks really good as Bruce Wayne. And then later on, and my biggest complaint about the Christian Bale was him growling scenes. And thank God now there's a community who hate the Nolan trilogy
because of his growling. Bad.
It is and it isn't because, and I'll say this: I haven't seen any of the shots. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite because I'm saying this. I fought with Rhonda about it yesterday. The voice you hear is the voice coming from the voice box inside the suit.
Yeah.
So it sounds tinny and robotic, and that's fine because of the suit.
It's not
if it was him, and it sounded like that, I definitely would have told you right now I'm not going to see this movie. But the fact that I know it comes from the helmet, it's the scene in the comic book when he confronts Superman, and Superman comes down and they fight. Which, when you see it's going to be awesome.
Do you bleed?
Oh,
stupid.
It's in the comic. It's the exact words when he says, "Do you bleed?" And he says, "You will." It's genius. It's genius from the comic book. It's the exact same lines. And again, you take it in this dystopic world. The Dark Knight universe is an alternate universe. It's not current continuity. It's basically, this superhero we all know and love, Batman, in the future, where he's very cynical, very angry, and he sees.
I like that. I'm a fan of that.
And you have this character who confront a regular guy who becomes cruel. Where he learns how to fight. Whatever, we all know the Batman origin, and he takes on a god. So you have the scene between a man and a god, and the battle that ensues. If he does anything justice to any one of the books that's shown it, it should be fucking awesome. But again, I'd say about the voice. The voice, when I first heard that, when it smacks somebody, but then I said, wait a minute, he's talking from within the suit, so I'll give that away.
So forgive not being able to understand what he's saying?
Well, you hear
because it sounds
exactly
like, do you plead, is what it sounds like. You can't even tell what he's,
no, you hear it.
Whatever.
The second time I saw the trailer, I caught it.
I'm not angry about it. I'm just angry at you because you hate Nolan Batman so much.
Because he does it without this is a costume. So, again, I'll give you this, Jeremy. If at any time outside of that suit, he growls still, I'll agree with you that this movie's ridiculously stupid. But this is only because it's in the costume.
No, I just think that's a ridiculously stupid complaint to begin with.
It's not because you have you go online. There's a faction of people who
doesn't mean that they're right.
Christian Bale's Batman growling.
It doesn't mean they're correct.
It is 100% correct. Batman doesn't growl. He talks. He has a very deep voice, and it's not like that. It's commanding voice. The cartoon does it best. He talks at you, and you're like shit. And you
I'm just like poking a bear here. I'm just sitting over here and just. With a stick.
And he's doing it on purpose because, he knows I bothered him because of Batman. He loved Batman. But anyway, this new Batman looks genius.
And here's my minor complaint. Because I do agree. I like a lot of... I really like the idea of everyone hating Superman. I love that. I love how dark everything is. Not because I love darkness, but because I like
that Batman.
I like the tone of it, but I still don't. I'm not a fan of Zack Snyder's visual style.
I know you.
It just I think it is comic booky, and I think that's fine.
Very much so.
It's fitting, but it's just not. It looks fake. Everything he's done, I think, has looked other than Man of Steel. Man of Steel would be the one that I think, at least the stuff on Earth, is fairly, that's more like Nolan inspired, of course. But
I thought you were a fan of The Watchmen.
I do like Watchmen. I don't like the visual style of Watchmen, really.
Okay.
I like Watchmen, though, because I read the book. That's the one thing I read the graphic novel of.
Genius.
So I was excited that there was an adaptation of that.
Yeah.
I have not watched that film in a long time, though. I might hate it now. I don't know. That's not fair. Because I did like it when it came out. So
I did. I still do.
I still don't like his visual style though. I've never really been a fan because it doesn't look real to me, and that's a nitpick. So but I also understand that it is fitting of that style. So I think that's it's just one of those things I've just never been a huge fan of. So yeah, that's really my minor complaint is just that it starts looking like some of the older Batmans where it's like and it looks good. It look like the CGI and stuff is well done. That's not the problem.
You can't compare it to any of that shit. Come on, stop it.
No. But I'm not saying it doesn't look that bad. Well, and I'm saying like at the time, you watch it, you're just like this doesn't look very real, and that's fine, but it's because it's all animated.
It's a lot of CGI stuff and
it's good CGI.
Yeah, it is good CGI. Like I said, when I first saw it, I didn't take too much. I was kind of angry at the voice, and then when I watched it here on the big screen, I was kind of like digging it. Like I said, like a lot of things, like little things that comic book nerds are gonna love it, like the way when the thing weighs on him, his muscles, thing, and he picks it up again. And then you say, oh shit, that's the cover of Superman 705, whatever. And then you notice that every shot of Superman is from a comic book. I thought it was really cool,
and I go,
yes, I know you do. But I'm still. I'm glad he's still making movies for people like me, as opposed to Christopher Nolan, who made movies for people like you who don't know the comic book, and that's not fair. But anyway, what's our next trailer? Is that it for trailer? No, do we have one more trailer?
No. That is it for all of our news. So we're going to move on to movies because we were going super long.
Yeah,
I need to talk about Lost River, and then we need to talk about the Babadook.
Yeah, let's talk about Lost River.
So Lost River is Ryan Gosling's directorial debut.
Which I like the trailer very much.
You did? You saw the
trailer? I saw the trailer when I was in New York.
Look at my muscles. Look at my muscles. Look at my muscles. That's the guy from Doctor Who. I've never seen Doctor Who, but he plays. Is it Matt something? Matt
Smith.
Matt Smith. Okay. Yeah. I don't know him, but yeah,
he's in it. Lost River.
Yeah. Or I don't know which Doctor Who guy it is. I'll look that up.
He's the.
Let me look. It's the guy who says, "Look at my muscles," is the guy I'm talking about.
7th or 8th
Matt Smith.
Doctor.
Yeah, he plays Bully in this movie.
Interesting.
He's really great. So
David Tennant's in the Netflix thing. That's
so
cool.
Ryan Gosling has been working with a lot of independent directors like Nicholas Winding Refn and that's about it. I'm trying to think who else. He's kind of moved into the independent world as an actor. He still does bigger stuff, but he's become an auteur and has decided to make his own film. And he released it at Cannes, and it got some of the worst reviews that have ever come out of Cannes. And then he released it at South by, and it did the same thing.
For real. I didn't follow the back.
A lot of people hate this movie, and they hate it a lot. Like, they really hate it. And you've seen the trailer.
I haven't. I like it.
So if you saw the trailer and you go, that might be a mess. And I understand that. I still think that's a fair complaint about any movie is if it's just messy, but the visual style of it and like the just the I don't know. Regardless, this movie is about a mom played by Christina Hendricks.
Sure.
So she's the mother of Bones and this young child, and basically she's trying to keep their house, and she can't afford to keep their house. She goes to see this bank manager played by Ben Mendelsohn. Freaking Ben Mendelsohn is amazing. And he basically tells her, he's like, look, you just have to pay 3 months rent or we're going to tear your house down. Yeah. And he says, but I can give you a job offer. And so she starts working at this really shady nightclub in order to provide for her family. But the nightclub, I mean, you think like this creepy sexual thing, but it's this nightclub where people fetishize violence, and these actresses basically, and it's shot like it's a very Lynchian style, like creepy.
I can give you that.
And I'm sure it's pulled from something.
You got that from the trailer.
It's essentially this nightclub where these women get up on stage and like will cut their faces and things like that, and these people just watch like excitedly and they'll applaud and stuff like that. And it's fake. It's all fake. But it's like these people that just they get off on this violence, and it's like a normal thing. Like people aren't fazed by it at all, and it's pretty disturbing. And so anyway, so this is like the profession she takes up. And meanwhile, her son and Saoirse Ronan, I know that's not how you pronounce her name, but she's really great. They think that this town has this curse that's been put down upon it because of some myth. It's this thing that they create in order to basically make themselves feel important. Like this town's in like a huge economic downfall. Like people are leaving because their houses are getting teared down and they just can't. It's too violent to stay, and people are like ransacking houses to steal metal and things like that. Anyway, that's the plot of the film. It's really dark. It's very much inspired by a lot of the directors she's worked with. Derek Cianfrance is the other director I was trying to think of earlier. All the independent directors. There's a lot of Lynch. There's a lot of. It's actually shot by. Let me look up his name real quick. The cinematographer who shot Spring Breakers and all of. Irreversible and Enter the Void. All of what's his name stuff. Gaspar Noé and. So like it's got a lot of those influences, and a lot of people said that it's just straight copied. Yeah. I'm not familiar enough with like I have not seen Enter the Void or Irreversible. They're on my queue. They're like things I really want to see, but I have not seen them yet. So like I don't know if there's like I said, like in the same with Lynch. I haven't seen all of Lynch's stuff, so I don't know if there's things just straight pulled from this movie. I love this film. I really, really love this movie. It's and I don't understand why everyone hates it so much.
Some of the reviews are good.
It's really visually impressive. Like I said, it's shot by the guy who did Spring Break. His name is Benoit Debie. I believe it's like a French. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. I don't. Somebody's gonna be sitting here like, oh, good try, little man. But
Benoit Debie.
I really think it's just such a visually impressive film. Because of him, I mean, his work is really good on this. So there's a lot of different ideas here, a lot of different influences. But I do think there's this story at the heart of it about this mom who wants to provide for her children. It's a story we've seen before, but I think in the context of something this strange and this kind of dark, there's a spin on it that I haven't seen, and all these weird things happen, but I still think there's that story that you can come back to. And there's a lot of really great stuff here. I mean, it's definitely a debut, film. It's not perfect by any means. This is all me like combating all of the just what I think are just scathing reviews of this movie. That it's one of those things where it's like you see this happen with critics just bashing a movie like this, but it's so technically well done, and I'm talking about like the visual and just the way it's constructed, like the editing, the pace of it, like everything. I don't like using this word because it's generally not true, but it's masterful in the way that it, like, just from a technical standpoint, like, it knows, it's very precise, and it knows what it wants to do, and it's strange, and it's confusing, but at the same time it feels planned. And I would compare it to what's his name, the guy who directed 12 Years a Slave. I'm going totally blank on his name.
Go on. I got it.
The way that he directs his films, though, like all his films just have this pace that he knows. He's just confident in, like, Steve McQueen in exactly the way he's gonna pace a film. Like Hunger, for instance, which is just a great movie, and like he'll draw out shots, but then he'll, like, just the way that it's edited and the style of it feels so calculated, and that's something that's like you watch and you're like, it might be a mess, but it's planned, and there was thought put into this, and I really admire that, and I'm really, really excited to see what he does after this from a director's standpoint, because this is a really cool movie.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, it's not perfect, and I can't recommend it because it is strange, and I could recommend it to you. Because I know that you'll at least think it's... Now, you might go into, though, having more knowledge of Lynch and stuff like that and say, oh, that's just ripped from this movie. Lynch, You know, and that's a fair complaint if that's the case. I don't know. I'm not going to say that because I haven't seen all the films that people say he's copying. But even... I still think there is that story at the heart of it, and I still think he constructs that story in a way that's interesting visually and just, from a performance standpoint. And that's something, from a first-time director, that's something a lot of people can't accomplish. So.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave it at that. Lost River, I think, is really great. I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait to buy it on Blu-ray. It's a mess, but...
Where'd you see it?
iTunes. You can rent it on iTunes.
Okay.
It's like $8 or something stupid, but whatever.
So much as a movie ticket.
That's what I figured. And I was watching it at like 4:00 in the morning. It was just kind of like, I don't know. And there is this subtext about there's a lot of like the whole when Louisiana flooded and then also the Detroit downfall. Shot in Detroit. I read a review, or I actually listened to a review from the guys over at Mark Kermode, BBC, Mark Kermode's channel. One of them did a review of it, and he made a comment about Ryan Gosling, like, analyzing the lives of the people in Detroit and then trying to make a film but not understanding it. I was just like, that's not fair. I don't know. I'm kind of angry about some of the hatred towards this film. Because I really think it's just one of those things where it's like, I want him to make another movie, though. It's like but it's not perfect, but like, stop it. Like, he's doing it. He's headed in the right direction, So anyway, moving on to the Babadook, because you saw the Babadook. And we're getting long here.
We're almost at the...
what do you think of the Babadook? I've reviewed this like twice.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's funny because I watch it with my daughter. I know some people say I'm a bad father, but growing up, my mother being a shitty mother, no, I love you, Mom, took us to movies that might have been, she shouldn't have taken us to. But Gloriana's different. Gloriana's now doing like I did. She's adapting, and I always think about, what's the name, Billy Friedkin's review of Babadook, who says it's scarier than The Exorcist, which made me feel like I think I could watch this because Exorcist is not really scary per se anymore for me.
This is...
I love the Babadook. Not only is it very scary, creep factor is 1,000,000,000%. I mean, I had so many hairs standing up throughout this movie. I
still think about the shot where you see him come out of the darkness into this like top lit. It's just
it was magnificent. I loved it. I loved the actress. I loved the boy.
She's great.
Who I wanted to kill.
Honestly, I think she could have been nominated for that performance.
That you say
I just don't think
yeah.
enough people saw the movie.
Yeah, and I think that's why.
The kid is great. The kid is so good.
And he's got this really ugly look to him that...
He looks like Danny from The Shining.
Shining, interesting, yeah.
He really does. But it's like this pasty white.
The pasty white is what
he's not a cute kid.
Yeah, and that's my points. I mean, I know we didn't really... I mean, you discussed it, but didn't really go into certain part of... And like I said, at first I said, could he be the Babadook? Could she be the Babadook? Then you see that it's more... It entered her. But even him, at one point, like at the end, I mean, I think I'm ready to spoilers, but I thought he might have been a Babadook as well, but But it's just the kid is just so ugly looking, but it worked in this film. It's effective for this movie.
It's very effective.
But
another thing is it has a sense of humor.
Yeah, it is.
Like
it
the
does.
scene with a lot of it's in its editing. Actually, I think where it chooses to just hard cut at certain times, like when he stands up on the swing set, and then you get this hard cut to her driving or whatever,
and he's screaming.
It's brilliant. Like I really, it's one. I think it's one of the better edited films of last year, other than like Whiplash, which I think deserved to win. What a great! I mean, it's the pace of it, and just kind of like I said, the humor in the way that it's kind of cut is really impressive too. It's really great.
It is. I mean, it's on Netflix. I was gonna buy it opening day, and I was like, wait till I get paid.
What do you think of the stop motion?
Oh yeah! Oh, superb! It's like
there's that shot though where it's like. It's contorted and just horrifying. I mean, it's something that like I really miss in horror is the use of stop motion. It doesn't look as good, but who cares? It's so much fun. Like it's just I don't know. And there's movies that just kind of embrace that. And gosh, it's such a great. It's really a great film. I'm excited to see it again. I bought the Blu-ray, like I said, we said earlier, and
it's funny because I went to Barnes and Noble's first. I was like, oh. And they had, I got the DVD. And I'm like, I don't have one Blu-ray. Oh, we don't have the Blu-ray. They had a DVD. It was a horrible looking cover. No, sorry, it didn't have I mean, it was just the case, and it didn't have the thing on top. So we ran over to Best Buy, and they had a casing on top, but it wasn't the special edition. I was like, and I was looking for special edition. The guy was like, oh, maybe they sold out.
Nobody's gonna know about any kind of special edition or anything like that, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, it was like $14.99 too, and it's a really great set. It has that pop-up book, and it's it's just this nice material though. It's this great red simple cover, but then you have the pop-up book, and then you have the normal theatrical cover as well on the bottom of it.
Speaking of the pop-up,
it's a Blu-ray DVD and everything.
Pop-up. It's not like more than one.
No, it's just one.
Good. Okay. Still
it's
I still want it.
It's great. Yeah, no, it's one of the better and it's a cheap set. It's $14. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
You can't beat that.
Because that could be a $25 set, and I would still buy it.
Yeah, it was $21.99 on Shout Factory, $17.99 on Amazon.
Shout Factory's always more expensive. To be fair.
Yeah, but I still want it. I loved it. It was like we started watching it again yesterday, and it's just so good. Like I loved watching it the second time with the knowledge of the film. She was even there. She was like, watch it. She kept saying to my younger daughter, whose birthday was this weekend, Emma. She said, Emma, come here. You're gonna like it because there's no jump scares.
There's no jump scares. No, but there's no jump scares with audio cues.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the best part. Except for the best moment of the film, which is the hat drop scene, is incredible. It's incredible.
I love that hat.
It's funny, and it's funny and scary, and it's just terrific.
I love when she goes to the police station. Because it's so creepy too.
Yeah.
Because it's like first of all,
anytime on the wall,
and then on the wall you see the thing with the blades on his hand with the claws.
Yeah, it's like anytime you see like a top hat on, and a coat hanging from a rack.
It's just so fucking awesome. And she's like running out of there, and they're all looking at her. She's crazy. It's just
great film.
I love Babadook.
And it gives it a legitimate excuse for somebody going crazy, and just like the and not even that, but I'm just talking about it gives a reason for why no one wants to be around her, and it gives a reason for why they can't leave the house. It's just it covers all of its ground, and
it does.
And then it has a sense of humor, and that's what I love.
Definitely,
because when it can still be scary and just be, and that's kind of what I wanted from It Follows. It Follows just didn't quite have that funniness,
that. Believe it or not, It Follows came
even if it's I don't know about that.
Houston? I went the other day because I was looking to see if. It's in AMC. It's AMC, the only theater in Cinemark.
So that's the only theater that ever carries independent stuff.
No, because it's
Cinemark carries 5 movies at a time. I mean, it's at AMC, it's at Alamo Drafthouse, it's at Sundance.
But we're talking about regular theaters. Come on, I
thought
when it came out,
theater.
It Follows was both in Cinemark. It was at AMC. And it was at...
But it's been 3 weeks now.
But it's been a month. Only at AMC. It's only 2 showings.
That's better than any... That's better than... that was better than The Guest last year. That was better than Whiplash.
Oh, but
that was better than
It Follows
Birdman.
was a bigger opening than The Guest. The Guest was one of those,
well,
under the radar.
Fine,
It Follows had a big push.
Okay, but Birdman and Whiplash, I mean, like, all of the Oscar-nominated films came and went. I mean, other than, like, Imitation Game and...
No, I'm not saying nothing bad about It Follows. I'm just saying that
it did really well for the micro-budget that it had, and really just considering it was supposed to come out on video on demand anyway. I mean, this isn't like a... and like I said, it's still in theaters, and it's still at the AMC by us, which means that it still has a wide release. Because normally the AMC by us doesn't even have them.
Yeah.
Normally you have to go over to the one on the west side of town.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
no, but still, because Emma picked her movie for her.
I don't know that people are still talking about it.
Gloriana picked her movie, and It Follows. And
I'm like, I wouldn't take anybody to see that. I don't know
about that, but that's when I started looking for it, and that's this week. Her birthday's 2 weeks from now. It's that one showing at AMC. So
I think It Follows, though, in comparison to the Babadook. Now that I've ingested It Follows, and I think it's from a standpoint of like sticking with you. I think It Follows is a little bit more scary. Just from a standpoint of like practical day to day stuff. It Follows. It's a good movie, but like I said, the humor though is is something I just love in movies, and I wish, like I said, I wish we had more of these.
Yeah.
If we had one of these a year, it would be a great thing. But anyway, so we need to. Predestination. I'm going to briefly. Because I gave this to you, so I'm not going to spoil anything. We rarely. I'm sure somebody's going to say you spoil everything.
Predestination is by the brothers, right?
I don't know who directed it actually.
Isn't it the guy he? Let me see.
But it's a movie about Ethan Hawke. It's a time travel movie. About. Oh, I don't know how to even discuss this film. I haven't thought about how I wanted to explain this movie. And this was another thing. I was watching it with a friend of mine. I was like, I don't know how you would market this film either. It's a strange movie. Brothers, okay, gotcha. The tone of it is really odd. It's a sci-fi thriller about. It's a time travel thing.
Yeah.
It's a paradox type thing, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's got Ethan Hawke, and there's this. Well, I guess I can say this. There's this person bombing cities and things like that called the Fizzle Bomber, and there's this organization which is kind of like a secret government organization that's trying to stop these things. Very similar to Source Code. Where they're trying to prevent these bombings and things before they happen. Yeah. And so they're sending Ethan Hawke back in time to try and fix these things. That's all I'm going to say. I really think this is one that you have to go in fresh. It's a hard movie to spoil, even because there's just so much to this film.
Yeah.
It's what you call a mind twister or a mind bender for sure. But it's in a good way. I think it's a movie that moves. It's really well edited. It's the performances are good, and I think.
Yeah, I mean, the Spirit Brothers are great. I mean, my first movie, or their first movie, was The Undead, which to this day is one of my favorite, I'd say, low-budget or Australian horror films. And like I said, they did Daybreakers, which I actually saw Daybreakers and liked it.
I haven't seen that. It's that one's on Netflix too, isn't it?
Daybreakers, I think so. Yeah.
But good movie. I mean, it's a low-budget film that looks really impressive. I mean, from like a practical set piece standpoint, like there's these really great set pieces in it that are it's just one of those things that's like, how'd you get that on this budget? Like I mean I know that this was probably made for, like I said, it's kind of like a Source Code level budget. I would assume like $10 million or something like that, maybe a little more. I don't know, I could be totally wrong on that. Maybe it was one of those things that Hollywood was trying to put out that just didn't do well. I don't know, but it did well with critics. It has like an 85% Rotten Tomatoes. People really like this movie. It's twisty and it's fun and it's really well shot. Like I said, really well done.
Well, you should watch the other two, bro. What are you worried about?
Oh, I'll watch one. I wasn't worried about anything. But yeah, and it's good. And we're going to talk about that more in depth. We'll probably do a spoiler thing next week. Now that I bought it, so I'm going to give it to Carlos. He's going to watch it. And we're going to talk about it next week.
I'm definitely going to watch it.
And then now let's talk about my surprise movie.
Big surprise movie.
I actually already put it on your shelf.
Oh, did you? What is it? Oh.
The Thing. I finally saw The Thing.
Oh, one of the greatest movies of all time. Talk to me. Tell me what you think of The Thing.
I really love it, of course.
It's one of the greatest films of all time. Come on, keep going.
I don't know if I think it's the greatest film of all time. I'll have to sit.
I did one of them. I always say one of them.
I think it might be scarier than Alien.
See, there you go. Good for you. I like that.
But I don't know if I like it more. I'll have to revisit both of those. But it's a great double feature with Alien for sure.
I'd watch
Alien. They came out about like 4
years,
4 or 5 years apart.
3 years apart. Yeah.
Because it was Alien. I thought Alien was like
79.
Okay, 79.
Was 79
gotcha.
and things
was
82.
Yeah. And I like John Carpenter a lot. You know, I didn't realize I was a huge fan of The Guest last year. We bring that up every podcast. The whole
both of the soundtrack,
the whole thing is like straight out of the thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, and I told you that too.
Yeah,
I said I love that
straight
thing.
Out of
stole it from the thing. And
totally.
It's like dum, 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 dum. And it is the heartbeat thing that goes through.
Kurt Russell's so great.
Oh,
he's so great, and
that was his last great anti-hero film. Like I love Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China, but that's more of a fun.
I didn't realize he hasn't made anything interesting since Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, literally,
and that was like 84 or something like that. It was
85.
right. Yeah, it's like he hasn't made anything in like 20, like almost 30 years. Like that's insane.
But I mean, McMurphy. Talk about McMurphy. I love McMurphy. I love his character. I mean, he's like one step ahead of everybody, but he's.
You're talking about Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell's
McCready.
McCready. I'm sorry, I said McMurphy. It's McCready.
That's the only name I remember from the whole movie because there's like 8 different people. I'm really excited to see the remake. And I know that it's a prequel.
Yeah, okay. Sucks. Yeah, I think I ruined that for everybody.
No, you didn't. Somebody else did.
Yeah. It's more a prequel than a sequel. Yeah. You should though. I want you to see it.
So my favorite thing in science fiction is this idea that and this is something that's in Alien. It's something that's in this. It's something that's in a lot of video games. They use it a lot. You find like the aftermath of some event.
Yeah.
Well, and in this case, it's they go back to the Norwegian plant or station or whatever it is, and they find like all these like leftover. People that are just like destroyed, burned and stuff like that, and they find all of these just like, and that's my favorite thing in science fiction. Like when it's like you get to kind of put that all together in your mind, like. And that's my favorite thing, like just good storytelling too. Like we were talking about what's Session 9, like things like that have like this story that's underneath everything that you have to kind of like piece together. That's my favorite thing, and so I love that. Like I love like what happened there. I want to know more. That's terrifying to me. It's more terrifying than what actually happens on the ship. I think like it's just like this idea of
the unknown is always more
it's scary.
I love
the monsters are cool. Like the stop motion and stuff. All the effects are great.
From his hands, and the stream of blood frozen. That's genius.
There's some really cool visual stuff. I wish they need to cut out some of the helicopter flying. They need to edit that down a little bit. But other than that, it's really great. Like I said, like all of the practical effects and there's a lot. I don't know if it's stop motion or what or time, or time lapse. Like it might be, I have no idea how they do all the creature effects and things like that, but it's pretty damn cool. So, I like it a lot. It'll definitely be one that I watch every year, like around Halloween. It's a great sci-fi horror film and just with some good stuff.
Yeah.
And there's the great scene that you mentioned last week where they test the blood.
Isn't that such a fucking magnificent scene?
It is really great, yeah.
I mean, I love that shit.
Especially when like they're all tied down and the thing like it's like oh,
you're like, oh guys, don't tie me. But it's just like you said, it's like
Now it does suffer from stupid people splitting up and going and doing
classic horror film back then.
Yeah, all right. Like all right, you stay here. We're gonna go back and we're gonna go check on him, and if he comes back without any of us. Burn him. Yeah. It's like, how about you don't leave the black dude chilling or Childs or whatever, I think it's his name. Like, how about you don't leave him chilling there by himself? Like, that just seems like a bad idea. I love the ending, though, too.
It's a great ending.
Let's just sit here for a while.
And now you should, obviously, you can guess who the thing is. But have you ever heard of the giant controversy of how visually we can tell who he is, even though we already know who he is? Like we know that... I missed that. Well, so the black guy, what's his name? Charles. So it ends with Charles and McCready. Yeah. And McCready is... we know that McCready's not the thing. We know that Charles has to be the thing. But they say there's a great visual clue, and it's what he serves them to drink. Now, if you remember what they were filling up the gasoline with...
I don't.
Filling up the gasoline with the whiskey bottles.
Yeah, okay.
And he filled up one with the flask. He put gasoline in the flask.
Okay.
So at the end, when he goes to drink it, realizing what was in it, then giving it to Charles, and Charles just drinks it up and like nothing. And then he smiles and says, "Yeah, we'll just wait until morning."
Oh God, that's great.
It's genius. And it's like when I remember
really
when I told Delano fought me on it. No, that's not it. We didn't see that bottle. I said, so you see all the bottles of whiskey, they were filling them up with with gasoline. And he filled up his flask too.
And so he knew that it was like
because like he was, you're all messed up after the giant fight with a giant alien. You go to you realize it, but you're cool. You're like, here, you go first, and he's just like, whoop, whoop, whoop. And he's like, yeah, and then he smiles
because he doesn't know that it's gasoline.
Yeah, because it's an alien. The alien doesn't get it, or just assume that this is gasoline or whatever it was. And he says it, and he just smiles and says, yeah, we'll just wait till morning. And it's like it's just perfect. I mean, I love it. I mean, I know if you watch the documentary or the commentary on it, they mentioned that at the end of the script. I think panned out, you would have heard a scream, but he cut that out because he didn't want that.
No,
he didn't want that, and it was like there's a comic book that came out in the mid '90s that John Carpenter associated with, and it led into the video game that came out in 2000, which both John Carpenter and Kurt Russell lent voices to. And I remember I was excited because that's when he first said we want to do a sequel, with McReady 20 years later, but it never happened. And then with the prequel thing, which I like the prequel.
I am interested to see, and I don't want you to spoil this. I want to see where it ties in. Like, at what point do they move on? And it might just be him taking off in the helicopter with the dog. I don't know.
But in the
prequel. The prequel. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested to see where that what exact. And don't spoil it. I'm excited to see exactly where that point happens. So, I really want to see the new one. I like this.
I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's very attractive, and I love her in anything.
Okay.
She's cute in it.
I
like her in it very much so. There's the guy you like from all the... Not Mendelsohn. The guy from... he was in it, too. He plays...
Mendelsohn in it?
Ben Mendelsohn is the ugly-looking ratty guy, right?
Gotcha.
Who's the good-looking one from Animal Kingdom? Who's in The Warrior?
We talked about him last week. We talked about his trailer for his new film.
Yeah, which you weren't excited about.
I'm totally blank.
Yeah, he plays the creeper in that one. But he's in it. He plays like the American that digs on her. And again...
Joel Egerton,
yeah. So we might dig that.
Ehrlich Thompson. Yeah, there's
out of BC from Oz is in it. So there's a lot of good actors in it. But again, I won't spoil it for you. I want you to see it. And everything you said, was like 100%. But check it out. I like the prequel thing. It's like a companion. I would watch it first before I watch the thing, and then revel that the thing is a much greater film.
I'm sure the original will be a better film, but just because of that unknown, I don't know that this one will be able to answer that as well.
Yeah.
But a great movie, especially that ending. I love the ending, but that makes more sense, and I figured that was the case.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, at this point, I don't think there's anything we could do.
And that's why
that's a brilliant line.
I won't give away the comic book because, like I said, the comic book wasn't an official sequel, but it does take place a day later, and I just always manage because I love McReady. I mean, it's one of my better than Snake Plissken in that's almost a blasphemy to say, but I do like him because he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy, but he's also who cares kind of guy. And you just think
I love the snow in his beard.
Yeah, it's like it's like he's sitting there and he's like, most likely they both die. Who knows what happens? I mean, because you can't survive that. I mean, the explosions, the heat, and he says that it'll get colder soon. So in your head, you're like, okay, the thing has to get frozen. But then if the thing gets frozen, McReady dies. So, and I remember as a kid, I was like, what happens next? What happened next? But it's just a great ending. I mean,
so in that case, though, let's just talk about what would happen, though. I mean, you've read that comic.
The comic book is not... John Carpenter, at the time said, yeah, I sanction this comic's good. I read it. Basically, it's the next day. And just again, and it does because the video game is supposed to be the sequel, too. And the video game was different. But supposedly the next day they come, and of course the thing is... frozen solid in a block of ice, and they don't know where McReady is. And they fear that McReady is also a thing.
Gotcha.
And that's what happens. And then, of course, the thing, they take it on the helicopter explodes, the thing gets loose, the child's thing, and it starts to wreak havoc. And then at the end, McReady is alive. He's not a thing. He went toward the base, got warmed up. whatever. He had blankets, but he comes, he kills the thing again, and you know.
Oh, cool.
But by this time, the thing is now in North America, and it's starting to spread. So McCready's like, you know,
I would love that
yeah,
movie.
and yeah, right. And so
that's another thing I love about and this is the genre of films I think is terrible, but one that I really love is outbreak films.
Yeah.
And like I don't think we've ever gotten a good actual film about like how a virus starts.
Yeah.
And how it spread. I mean, you might get the beginning of it, like you might get like the chaos or whatever, and then it cuts to 6 years later.
Yeah.
You know, and they do it in video games too, like The Last of Us last year, which I think is still a good example.
Yeah, it's a good game.
You know, it's a good game, but like, you know, like the you know, I want to see that like where it starts. And like that first, like kind of like in The Thing, like I want to see it break out,
begin,
and I want to see it like spread to a city, and like what that day life looks like as you hear about it, and as you see that kind of around you. And I don't know, I don't think we've gotten a movie or anything about that just works. The closest thing I can think of, which is just stupid ass movie, is Doomsday. Which is a guilty pleasure of mine. I think it's a terrible, terrible movie.
It is terrible.
But you get some of that, and I love that concept. Conceptually, I've just always loved that idea of like this, and it's a horrible thing to like, I guess, but you know, just this, it's terrifying to me, and like the movie Contagion as well. Which I think is very good. As also like just this kind of, I don't know, like I want to see that. And so like. The Thing is pretty satisfying in that way.
Yeah.
It's not enough. I would still like to see how it gets to North America and whatnot. Like that's scary and great, and I would love to see that movie.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always wanted a sequel to The Thing. I mean, like as a kid when I saw it, it was one of my favorite films. It's funny, the movie was a flop, and it's funny because when I growing up, I always say, like my mother bought HBO, like a bootleg HBO, and we got to watch it. And it's like I grew up watching all these great films, and then it's like when you realize it afterward. And I remember when I got to be a teenager, or maybe in the college, and I first read about The Thing, and it talks about the flop of The Thing, and I'm like, but how? You know, and it's like it's such a big movie in my life because I saw it every airing on HBO. That's the kind of kid I was.
Yeah.
And like Cannonball Run, one of my favorite movies. Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, but it was such a flop, and then you don't realize that basically the creation of HBO, you know, like home box office, those pay TV things were just to make money off flops.
Yeah.
To get money back. And it was like, so to watch The Thing and then think to this day that was a flop when it came out. Now it's heralded as a classic, and people watch it at every film fest. Actually, Alamo's doing it coming up too, and I want to go see it at
yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely want to see it at Alamo.
So, I would love to see that on the big screen.
No, that should be a movie we can take together. But yeah, that's a movie I want to see. On the big screen, you know. I mean, I know it's all on DVD, shit, Blu-ray, but still, I do like. I want
the size of it.
The size of it on the scope.
Because, like I said, just that visual is important.
So I mean, yeah, just to think that The Thing flopped, or Blade Runner flopped. You know, it's like these are movies that are iconic now and actually a revel now. But back then, like you know, seeing them on HBO as a kid, you know, you're like, oh, it's such a good movie, and they were flops. So, but yeah, now you saw it, now you love it. I'm glad you've seen it. I'm glad you love it. And, you know, we can talk about The Thing now a lot.
Hell yeah.
So, I think this is...
We need to just skip Game of Thrones this week. I mean,
yeah, we'll talk about it next week.
Everybody's watching Game of Thrones. We all love it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll do more of a recap next week when we don't have as much to talk about. We've spent forever on these trailers, but they were big trailers.
They were big, yeah. They were big movies.
What can you do?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and see... Ex Machina comes out this week, and I'm totally going to see that.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and see Roar. Which
Alamo Draft House. I got free tickets for that, but I couldn't say it.
Which, for those of you who don't know, Roar is a movie in which it's like the most irresponsible film ever made, is what the tagline for this re-release is. It's a movie about these real life people that go and they're trying to make a movie about these real life people that go to live with lions or whatever for extended like a good couple of years or something like 7 years or something. And this film crew is filming this. They're filming scenes and things like that, documentary style kind of. And these lions just start attacking people on camera. And like people were like, "Oh no, it's okay. He's just playing." It's like, no, he's eating my head, you know, and like, he's clawing my eyes, you know. he's just biting at your neck. It's like, no, he's trying to tear out my jugular. Like, it's like, and so there's you're watching this movie though, and it's like these real, and like a bunch of like 70 people were injured in the filming of it. I have to see this movie.
Yeah, I know. When I got the free tickets, and I was like, I can't go, but I was like,
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
because apparently, like the whole time you're just super concerned about the real life people. You're just like, oh my gosh, no, don't let that happen. Yeah, and so it's just
check out their vintage movies. They like this weekend was a Pulp Fiction quote along, which I couldn't do. But I mean, they're having.
I've already seen Pulp Fiction on the big screen.
No. But the thing I want to see on the big screen. They're also doing another one.
They were doing Alien.
Alien, yeah.
Those are. I mean, that would be a great. Like if a great. Imagine going to see a double feature of The Thing and Alien.
That'd be genius.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But
we're gonna wrap it up. So those are the two that I'm gonna try and see this week. Like I said, who knows if that'll happen or not. Alamo Drafthouse is on the other side of town, so it's not like
an hour away.
I think Ex Machina though will be at AMC this week. So I'll definitely that's the one I'm gonna see first before I see Roar. Even though I do need to catch that before it's gone. But like I said, that's one I can go see somewhere else. But yeah, no. So that's what we're gonna talk about next week, most likely, and then we're gonna talk about Predestination in detail. Because you need to watch that.
I'll watch that definitely. And you should watch Undead and Daybreaker.
Watch it. I'm also giving Carlos Borgman. So he's going to watch that. We might do a spoiler talk about Borgman as well. Not that anybody has seen that movie and is going to be interested in a spoiler talk about it. But, that's what we've got planned. And then we will do a Game of Thrones recap because we need to get week to week on that.
So, all right.
That's what we got planned. And it'll be awesome. And thanks for tuning in for this long episode of... This might be our longest one ever of Indecisive Cinema.
Indecisive Cinema.
Episode 13. Right. Signing out. I'm Jeremy Knight. We never introduced ourselves.
Yeah, no, and I'm Carlos Hernandez. We've been bad today. But we did good.
Oh, yeah, go review us on iTunes. And send us emails at indecisivecinema@gmail.com. And go on Facebook and go on Twitter. We have pages on all those things. And let us know what you think about the show. Let us know what you think about The Thing or about any of the stuff we're talking about if you've listened to this far. And go back and listen to some older stuff as well. And
13 episodes.
Let us know what you think. 13 episodes. That's like really, it's probably like
24 hours.
It's probably 20 hours of Indecisive Cinema.
You can do that on a radio
for your listening goodness. I don't even know what that means. It's not even a phrase.
For your listening goodness.
But yeah, anyway, we will see you next week.
You guys have a good week. Take care.
Bye-bye.